Flames Nation, Noah, it's Printzy, and we are here at Trolley 5 Brew Pub on the heart of the Red Mile, one of the best bars you can go to for a Flames game on the Red Mile. Thank you, Trolley 5, for having us down. We're doing our pre-game show for Game 5 tonight at the Saddledome. Noah, how are you feeling about Game 5 after that Game 4?
Well, I think I'm, compared to before Game 4, I'm feeling much more confident heading into tonight because the way they played the other night was exactly the way they played in the regular season. We finally saw the same Flames team with all the new records broken this year by all individual players. We saw such a dominant effort the other night, and Johnny Gaudreau probably scored the biggest goal of his entire career as a member of the Calgary Flames.
How nervous were you until that point of the penalty shot? Like, I'm not going to lie, man. Having a one-goal lead for that long, I think they scored on their 30th shot. The 30th shot got them 1-0. Yeah. So I was nervous the whole time. So how nervous were you up until that point of the penalty shot?
I wasn't feeling too nervous just because they had played a solid game up to that point. But it was just a matter of when the other goals would come. And throughout that couple-minute stretch before the end of the game, you saw Johnny with his penalty shot, then obviously Elias Lindholm, and then you saw the empty netter. So I wasn't too nervous throughout the final 20 minutes or so.
So building off of that performance, do you think that there's going to be any carryover from Jamie Benn? Now, what we saw prior to Game 4 was Jamie Benn. You know, he's a crafty veteran. I was on CBC Radio the other day. CBC Radio the other day with David Gray, and he had asked me the question about what was up with Milan Lucic and Jamie Benn. And, crafty veteran going to the media and saying that Matthew Tkachuk is smart not to fight me. But then Milan Lucic gets put out there for the opening draw to say, hey, if you're going after Tkachuk, there's bigger boys out there for you, big boy. Who do you want? Who do you want? So I love that. Do you think there's going to be any kind of carryover into tonight?
I don't really think so, because it's like, with Lucic being on the ice, the first minute when Jamie Benn was also on the ice, I think that sent a message very clear that, okay, if you want Tkachuk that badly, you're going to have to go through guys like Lucic, Goodbranson, and Zadorov. And let's be honest, they're pretty nasty players when they fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I mean, going back to Jamie Benn too, so this is now the second game in the series, the second game in a row that he's been fined for a slew foot. Do you think he's going to go for the trio and go for the third one?
Well, if he gets a third one, he's going to get suspended.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Man.
In all likelihood. And at this point, he can't continue to try and make stupid plays. That's going to cost his team at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, I like Jamie Benn as a player. I don't like him in this series, man, because he's going after Matthew Tkachuk and he's slew-footing our players. I like him as a player, man. He's a playoff player. He's a good leader. So.
Well, and speaking of Matthew Tkachuk, I really loved this game the other night. It looked like he finally got his game back on track. He wasn't focused too much on fighting. He was just focused on trying to win the game and do what it takes to help the team be successful in game number 4.
What did you think of Brady up in the crowd with his dad, Big Walt, wearing the Friendship Tour shirt?
His sipping. The way he held the beer bottle was extremely weird. I won't lie. He needs to work on his sipping habits, but it was great to see the Tkachuks. But even the Gaudreaus and the Colemans were also were also in attendance for Game 4. So it actually is super amazing how close the team really is.
Right. What did you think of Sutter's mind games with the Lions? So when I got the Pat Steinberg update, thank you, Pat.
Go.
I got the lineup update of Brett Ritchie on the second line. And I sent it out to the group chat, and all the buddies were just freaking out. Why is Brett Ritchie on the second line? The guy's got no goals, man. Japan's got 35 goals. But it was a complete mind game by Sutter to throw everybody off. Ritchie was even in the warm-up.
Yeah.
So what happened was they ended up going 11-7 with Michael Stone. Now, we haven't got the lineup update yet from Pat. It's still midday. I'm sure Pat will get it out there. He's a good dude. He's a good fella. He'll get it out there. So what were your thoughts on Michael Stone being the 7th defenseman?
I liked it. I really liked the strategy Darryl was using with the 11-7. And you know what? If the 11-7 worked in Game 4, why not do it again?
So he had, I think, 8+ shots.
And the most since Jerome McGinley in the playoff game since Game 7 against Vancouver.
So do you think that is actually a factor, having a big defenseman out there who's just clapping shots from the points? I think he dropped Radulov once. Radulov took one right off the knee, and he just dropped him. Is it a factor to have a guy out there with a big bomb like that?
I think it's meant to happen if there's a guy with a big time shot that, it's either, being stopped or it's missing the net by very wide margins. So,
Right.
so I think it's bound to happen in those situations. Like, you're not going to hit the net every single minute of the time.
Yeah.
But you are going to get pucks on net or pucks in the traffic there.
Right. So what do you think of the Dome's going to be like tonight? You were at game 1, so you got to see the opening night of the playoffs. You got to see the great atmosphere, the Go Flames Go chant, the anthem. What do you think it's going to be like?
I really think with the with what could come out of game 5 potentially and heading into game 6 on Friday night, I think it's going to be pretty crazy. You know, if I'm being honest, especially if the Flames win tonight and then they're a win away from moving on to the second round. Like, I think it's going to be buzzing in the Dome for sure tonight.
They need to get the home ice. They have to head into Dallas going up 3-2.
Yeah.
The reality is, if you go into Dallas and it's 3-2 and you lose, you got game 7 back at home. Obviously, we don't want that.
God forbid.
Maybe the guys at Trolley 5 because it's good for business, but we don't want that game 7. So what are your keys tonight? What do the Flames need to do? Do they need to just repeat what they did in game 4?
Repeat exactly what they did in game 4. Like, there's no excuses on that front.
I think they need to come out flying like they did.
Do?
Like they had 19 shots in the first period, so I think they need to come out flying. Obviously, it would be very nice to get a goal within those first 19 shots.
And I look at game 4, and I said that this is exactly the type of first period they had in game 1. But then after that, it was just Dallas, really being good at defensive oriented, and Jake Onger being Jake Onger. Game 4 was finally the game where they make Jake Onger really, really work.
Right.
They have to continue to do that if they want to repeat the same successes they did in game 4 into tonight.
Very good, Noah. Very good. Just to end it off here, we're going to talk a little bit more Flames, but to end it off here, we want to switch it up here. What did you think of Edmonton blowing it last night against the Kings?
I saw it coming.
Yeah, you
saw it coming, if we're being honest. Like, I didn't expect that, every game was going to go the way it did, obviously.
Right.
But, as everybody know on the on one of the episodes that we did, was that I predicted LA would win in 6. And the amount of disrespect that they were getting from a lot of people throughout the league in terms of predictions was pretty crazy to me, because it's not a good idea to bet against a team that has Kopitar and Dinal as their top 2 centermen, but then Jonathan freaking Quick is a bad man.
Yeah, he's turning back the clocks, and we talked about this before. It's Quick and Smitty. They're either going to be lights out or they're going to be just awful.
Just complete garbage.
So, you know what, Oilers? Do you, Oilers. We want you in the second round, but at the end of the day, if the Kings get through and we get through, it is what it is.
And a little interesting stat that I should bring up here. Since the anybody but Calgary sign was taken in Dallas, the Oilers are 0-2 and the Flames have won a game since.
There we go.
So think about that karma to those people who have those signs and got that photo taken.
And you and I got some praise and we got some heat for our segment on Shot Down in Flames, where I absolutely ripped into the Oiler fans for coming after me, and you went after those fans.
Well, I made the tweet last night.
Yeah,
the 0-2 stat, and it blew up like crazy. So it's kind of.
So we're heading into Game 5 tonight. Saddledome. It's a 7:30 game. Whether you're going to the Dome, going to the red lot, or
8 o'clock actually.
Is it? Oh, I thought it was a 7:30
I think it's 8 o'clock.
Okay, well, it's an 8 o'clock game then. If you're heading down to the Dome, heading down the red lot, you're going to have a good time. If you're here at Trolley 5, you're going to have an amazing time. Noah, this is like your second home.
Essentially.
Yeah. So how has the games been at Trolley 5?
Well, I was actually just at the one on Saturday night for Game 3, but the atmosphere was pretty good, especially for like a road game. Like, we still got a great show up, and it was good for business and all that type of stuff. But I imagine tonight's going to be just ridiculous with it being a home game.
Yeah, we're here early. We're here midday, so it's they're just opening. The lunch rush is just hitting right now. It's a little quiet right now, but this place is going to be packed tonight. So get on down to Trolley 5 if you're not going to the game. This is the place to be.
This is exactly the place to be.
Trolley 5,
right in the heart.
Thank you for the beers. Trolley 5, cheers, Noah. Thank you for coming down and doing our game day preview. This is Mark Printz and Noah Adler for FlamesNation.ca.